First off, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank City Administrator John Hamilton and Police Chief Giles for being here as well. We're here to address the concerns around the late-night gatherings at some of the local convenience stores, and specifically in response to this past weekend. Our residents, our children, and our businesses that operate in this community deserve a safe environment. Today, we are here to send a clear message. We will not tolerate violence and unlawful behavior that threatens the safety and harmony of our community. We have heard the concerns of our community, and we are committed to taking action. We will work closely with convenience store owners, law enforcement, and City Hall leadership to address the ongoing loitering and large gatherings that have contributed to these places being unsafe. Our goal is to create a safer environment where families can live, shop, and work in peace. This effort is not about targeting businesses. If anything, I, as well as the mayor, want you to be successful business owners. It is about building partnerships to ensure that these locations are safe and welcoming for everyone, as well as being good neighbors. Chief Giles and City Administrator Hamilton and I stand shoulder to shoulder, committed to improving public safety in our community. At this time, I invite City Administrator John Hamilton to the podium to make his remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. And to Councilwoman Watkins, thank you very much for your leadership and your partnership on these issues. I stand here representing Mayor Battle. He unfortunately could not be here. This is an issue that is extremely important to him, and he absolutely would be here if it was possible. And I do have a statement from him that I want to read because I think it's important that our community hears directly in his voice. But I will tell you, we are fortunate to live in a very, very safe community. But that doesn't make us immune to some people behaving in a way that's dangerous to themselves and others. And as Councilwoman Watkins said, we will not, as a community, tolerate that kind of violent behavior. You can be extremely safe, but if there's one person out there that is in fear for their safety, that's one too many. If there's one person out there that's a victim of a crime, that's one too many. And we all have to work together. Our city council, the administration, our police department, but as was noted, really importantly, our business owners and our parents, and our aunts and uncles and grandparents and mentors and everybody in the communities to come together to help address these issues. But this time I want to read to you Mayor Battle's statement because I think it's important that we hear his voice. The safety of our residents is our highest responsibility, and I want everyone in Huntsville to know that we are fully committed to keeping every part of our community safe. These tragic events remind us that public safety is a shared responsibility. While law enforcement will continue working to hold those responsible accountable, lasting solutions require all of us, residents, businesses, and community leaders, to work together to prevent violence and look out for one another. Violence has no place in Huntsville. We've always come together to meet challenges, and we will do so again. Together, we will continue building a community where families can feel safe, living, working, and gathering. So at this time, I want to invite Chief Giles up to provide some comments directly from our police department's perspective. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Ms. Watkins, for spearheading this. So we all know the last few weeks have been hard. We've investigated several shootings that began with something that should have had a very different ending. An argument, a disagreement, or conflict that escalated in just a matter of seconds. Every one of these cases is different people, different circumstances, and certainly different location. But they all share one thing in common. Somebody made the decision to use a firearm instead of walking away. That's the part that concerns me the most, and should you. I know people are frustrated. I know the concern builds every time we hear about another shooting, but I want you to understand that these incidents are not random acts of violence. They're isolated, involving people who know each other, or simple conflict that escalated for no good reason. This doesn't lessen the tragedy for the families involved, but the context matters. Our officers will continue to do what this department has always done. We respond quickly, investigate thoroughly, and identify those responsible and hold all accountable. And we're going to continue to put our officers where they're needed the most. Public safety is always strongest when the community and the police work together. We need residents to continue reporting suspicious activity, sharing information, and remaining engaged with their communities. Many of our successful investigations began with a phone call, a tip, a concerned neighbor who chose to speak up. If you see something, say something. In most of these incidents, a lot of people were there, but somehow no one saw anything. A tragedy occurred, and we have to ask the community for their help. Isn't it bad enough that families are grieving because of the loss of their loved ones? Have we become so desensitized that we're more concerned with our status among our friends than we are about the value of a human life? The decision that prevents the next shooting is often made long before we receive a 911 call. So if you're angry, walk away, leave, call somebody that you trust. Give yourself time to cool off, because once that trigger is pulled, lives are changed forever. Thank you. I will now turn it over to Ms. Watkins.
Again, I want to thank Mayor Battle, Chief Giles, and City Administrator John Hamilton for their support and commitment to making our city safe. And at this time, we'll take questions, but we cannot talk about the investigation.
Daryl Green with Way 31 News here. I know you can't talk about the investigation. Can you speak to how many open investigations related to shootings are there right now?
Repeat the last part of that question, please.
How many open investigations are there related to shootings?
Well, each incident has been treated separately, and they're open investigation, as we say, until we can either accumulate enough evidence to make an arrest or arrest in that case.
I know that a few of these incidents have happened at gas stations. Is there anything that police is paying attention to just with some of these disputes happening at gas stations frequently?
Obviously, convenience stores, gas station, whatever you want to call them, are just a common place for people to come to because of the fact they are convenient to access. These incidents happen, it's almost as if they happen just by chance. In other words, it wasn't prearranged for people to be there in order to resolve their conflict.
Jerry Ledoux with Channel 19. So my question is, has these crimes rise from last year around the same time? Well, around this time last year, I think. Have you guys seen an increase this year?
Actually, we just reviewed our last quarter stats, and they were actually down compared to last year.
Are the known offenders in these cases repeat offenders? Are you familiar with some of the known offenders in some of these investigations?
I'll say this, at this point in time in the Jordan Lane incident, we need our community's help in this. There are people out there who are either sharing social media, aware of what's going on. You can report those things anonymously to us. We need the community's help, because this is not just an HPD problem. This is a Huntsville problem in respect to solving this crime.
How many officers are police currently short? Is that anything that plays into it? Are there any vacancies or anything in that regard?
The number of officers that we have vacancies of is not playing into this. We have adequate number of officers that are out there.
And what role do you think the community can play in helping you guys solve certain investigations or prevent shootings?
As I mentioned earlier, to call us when they see something unusual. To see 100 people in a parking lot is a little unusual. Call us, let us know about these things. We respond to these things quite often. We're going to continue to work with the business owners to make sure we have a safe environment. Call us with the tips that they may have. Encourage each other to share that information with us, because if we're not going to work together, this is going to become a problem.
And then also, you said something about concerns earlier. What are some things that you would reassure the community of?
I'm sorry, say it again, please.
I said that you mentioned something about there's concerns. What are some things that you would tell the community to make them feel reassured?
Well, these incidents are concerning, but Huntsville is by and large a very safe place. What people have to keep in mind is the fact, just be aware of your surroundings. The same message we put out at the holidays, to be aware of your surroundings, make sure people know where you are. One of the things that, as a side note, if you would, we have Lock, Secure, Protect, where we encourage people to lock their cars, remove the valuables. We have more guns stolen out of unlocked vehicles than we do in burglaries. It's too easy to access weapons.
Are these incidents increasing compared to the same time period in 2025?
Increase of what?
Just in the time period that we have now, in the recent shootings, is this an uptick in,
No, sir, like I said before, and just in our last quarter, we saw a slight decrease from the previous year.
And since,
All right, Carson Bill Fox 54. How is it working with the businesses that, where these shootings took place? Are you seeing any relationship being able to, see if you're getting CCTV, any possible evidence from those locations?
We continue to work with all our business owners and to the point that, in these cases, they're all cooperating with us. And we have suggestions for them in respect to things they can do to improve the environmental design of their parking lots, whether it be camera share program where they can share their cameras with it, but we are seeing cooperation.
Yeah, I'm just curious, are you gonna be up at patrols or station officers, or do you be differently than that?
I'm sorry, can you speak up?
Are you gonna be stationing officers up there, increasing patrols or anything?
We always look at our crime trends and our calls for service and deploy an adequate number of officers in those areas. Those particular areas that we just referred to are ones that we're familiar with, and we constantly have officers riding through there.
I'm just curious what the partnership with the convenience stores looks like. You mentioned, working with them to get information and stuff, but I'm just kinda curious how that's gonna change going forward.
It's hard to predict what people are gonna do, but we will continue to do our job, I can assure you that.
Chief, regarding the drone lanes, we've seen that the food truck has vacated its normal location. Is that the first step just to kind of help get rid of this problem altogether?
The bigger problem is people's access to weapons and using that as a way to I guess you might say, try to end a confrontation. The thing we're trying to get across to people is understand that first off, conflict that escalates to violence is not the way to go. It'd be like a food truck. You mentioned a food truck being moved. Certainly people are going to congregate where food trucks are if in fact that's the reason they're there. So it may be a temporary solution, but we'll continue to monitor it.
so you said earlier that when there's a lot of shootings going on, it's a lot of people that's there, but nobody knows anything. If there's anybody that's seeing this conference, what would you tell them that may know information about any shootings? What would you tell them to encourage them to call you guys and let you guys know what's going on?
Yeah, so you can report whatever tip information you have anonymously. You can share your social media, and we will provide the outlets for you to do that. You can remain completely anonymous.
You talked about firearms a little bit earlier. Is that a bigger issue that you're seeing, just people acquiring these firearms? I mean, do you have a number of how many firearms you've recovered just from these recent shootings?
No, so I did not bring that information with me.
Hey, Daryl, Jerry, Gio, I appreciate y'all's time, but as we're coming to this, we're talking about needing to do partnerships with our community. That includes private businesses and our communities. Communities as a whole, proactivity works best when you work with your community through see something, say something, through working with our businesses, ensuring that we have appropriate signage in place. But with that being said, us needing to work on that, that's where we're going to need to step off and start working on it. So this concludes it.
Thank y'all.